All right, all of you freedom-loving boys and girls, Mark Centerline Systems, going to do an update on this 1022 pouch naming contest. Before I get into the gist or the meat of this video, I'm going to throw myself under the bus. Go watch video number 1. I came right out and said, I shouldn't have talked about this yet. I never talk about products, before I'm ready. And, so I've got no one to blame but myself for the ensuing madness. And this video is going to be a little bit of madness, but on a serious note, yeah, I probably shouldn't have talked about it, but I'm actually really glad I did, because I've had we had a lot of people, providing names, and I'll get to that in a second. I've had a lot of people like email me, text me, phone calls. It's, so I really appreciate that. It's been educational for me. And then that's kind of forced me to go and do some educational things. And that's going to make sense in a second too. But as always, I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to start in this. So I'm just going to do this. First, I'm going to talk about the names that I'm picking, right? The winning name, right? And I'll put your name in the comments here. And then, I'll go back to that contest and I'll make sure that you're pinned at the top. But right now, the winner is G-Dog Hammerspring with the name of Survival Rifle Deployment Pouch, right? So G-Dog Hammerspring, you are the winner. And I got more. So don't just everybody tune out, because the naming convention got me into, or the naming contest got me into trouble, and that's resulted in something else. So it's really, stay tuned. We're not done here yet. This isn't even far from over. And G-Dog Hammerspring, you may have won. You may want to hang on a second, and that'll be a little bit more evident here too. But I just got to give a couple other noticeable shout outs. So we had 2 guys who had very similar names, and I really liked. It would have been how do you deal with that? So kind of, you want to call them runner up. So just huge shout out to you guys. So it's Dave Isn't Funny 7376. Dave, if you're not funny, why is that making me laugh? Dave Isn't Funny 7376. He had Takedown Rifle Pouch, and then Jim Taylor 9014 had Takedown Rifle Accessible Pouch. Very similar. Jim, you actually, no, Dave Isn't Funny had his first, but those are really similar, really good names. And then last but not least, Metallium 69 Survival Rifle Pack or Pouch. That's a really simple, and I like that too. So huge, again, I guess where I'm just going with that part right there is that was lots of fun. I hope you guys had fun. There were some really good names, and again, lots of great back and forth and on what are we going to name this? But I had to go out and do a lot of research. There are some platforms I didn't even know existed. People were like, well, what about this and what about that? And I'm like, what is that over there? Running away so I can go and research it real quickly. I didn't even know what it was. But as a result of that, this isn't over. And let me just go. Let me take a step back. And this goes actually to specifically, when we're going to G-Dog Hammerspring, the winner, you might want to hang on a second. I definitely want you to reach out to me. My email, my phone number is all over my website. Give me a call. We'll talk this through a little bit. But as I'm going forward, again, with that, I had so many people saying, optics. Me personally, I'm just running iron sights. So I live in northern Minnesota. I'm not going to be taking 100, 200 yard shots. You're lucky if you can see a bird at 30 yards away in the cedars and the pines, right? So I don't need the optics, but I went and just looked, and I see a whole bunch of photos, just, again, on any one of the search engine machines. And holy shit, do some of you guys and gals have your 1022s, your takedowns, whatever it is, really decked out. I mean, I saw some 1022s that had scopes on them that, I would expect to see on a 300 Win Mag or something like that. Hey, you do you. I'm running irons. So, for me, the very first one we made, this one right here, this bad boy, that's what I'm going to roll with. That's going to be the one I'm going to keep for myself. Based on a lot of those optics and comments about that, we kind of went back to the drawing board and said, hey, look, yeah, there's just a ton of people who want to run optics. And, and again, as you guys were educating me and I went out and started doing more research, I'm like, hey, we've got to make this a little bit wider to try to accommodate some optics. Now, don't mind the shoulder strap. This is just a shoulder strap I have, so I didn't make a shoulder strap for this one, but so we came up with this. Now, I'm just going to show this off a little bit. It's the same concept as the first one, you know, MOLLE on the front and bottom, so you can put a pouch there, MOLLE on the back, so you can, you know, if you wanted to, you could wear it on your belt or attach it to a car seat or another product. You can do the shoulder strap and all kinds of different configurations. But to make it wider to potentially accommodate some of the optics that you guys have been talking about, well, we had to make it wider. And so, you know, depending, is it muzzle up, muzzle down, stock, you know, how is it going to be? So that material would get really flimsy up near the top. Now, here's what we did that I really like, and I hope this shows up when I do this in the video, is we made a cap. So this isn't a normal flap, it's a cap. This should show up like this. And to open this up, so even when it's not the Fastech buckles, the side release buckles, even when they're not secured, I mean, you can see how straight that really has great retention. There's a 1022 inside of here. I'm just holding off on the sides. You can see this. That guy isn't coming out. So I really like that feature we made. And so if we do this model, that's what it's going to be, you know, and you just basically got to flip it upside down, you know, invert it to gain access to your platform that's inside of there. But now, so again, I've got the 1022 with the Magpul backpacker on it. That's what I'm running. And so I messed around a little bit today. We just finished this. This is a viable, you know, finished product. It's more than a prototype. And I'm here to tell you, this still works good for a lot of the takedowns, right? But, you know, I don't know. There's so many different optics out there. So I put a couple of my optics on my 1022, and I'm here to tell you, to have enough room to accommodate what's out there. And again, I've seen some just like, holy crap, that's an optic. You know, I was thinking people were talking like little RMRs and stuff like that, little red dots. Oh, no, hell no. You guys aren't messing around. So I put my ACOG, I got this other red dot that sits really high. And I'm here to tell you, this isn't wide enough, right? So the final kind of conclusion to this, and then again, you know, kind of going into G-Dog hammer spring, you might want to hang on a second, because as I started putting on all those optics, I came up with a different way of solving this problem. And, you know, now it's going to take a little time. We got to like figure out where we can squeeze in some prototyping, but I think I have a way to accommodate multiple takedown platforms with or without optics. So here's how this whole 1022 doesn't conclude, but keeps morphing into like, you know, some scary monster. You can leave comments. This is a really great bag. I really like this size and design. And there's a lot of other things just besides, you know, a takedown or, you know, that you could put in here again. So like your hiking sticks, your fishing gear. And I think the size of this is really good. You know, again, to accommodate some other things, I've got to make it way wider and way taller. But for like a 1022, a standard 1022, this bad boy is money. It's money. And if your other platform is similar to a 1022, it's money. So for some examples here, like, and this is just my opinion because I don't know some of these, but the Henry AR7, yeah, that would work in here all day long because, you know, it stores inside the buttstock. I saw a Savage Model 42. I'm not 100% sure if it would fit in here, so I'm going to say unknown at this time. Somebody was reaching out to me about the M6 Scout by Springfield Armory. I don't think it will fit in this size as well. And then some other things that I saw that are really cool. 1892 Alaska Takedown by Taylor's. That's a pretty cool lever gun. I saw a ton of pictures of how people have those kitted out. That looks really badass. And then the worst thing I saw, worst because I want one, is the SU-16 from Keltec. And if that's a 5.56 takedown, that thing just makes me think of a BAR. It just looks badass. You know, 1-in-7 twist. But it's unknown. It's unclear to me if that would fit in here. So you can leave a comment, but I'm going to do yet another video on this whole, I opened up the can of worms. I got no one to blame but myself, but damn it, I'm going to finish it. And I think I already know what I'm going to do. So just stand by. I'm going to make another kind of prototype or another version. And then at that point, I'm going to, then the final contest will be, what do you guys and gals think? This version right here or this other thing that I'm going to do? And I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, for G-Dog Hammer Spring, I'm going to honor my commitment. But if everybody decides to go with this other version I'm going to make, I already know the name. As I was thinking about this and trying to problem solve, I already came up with the name. So if we go with the other version, I already have the name for it. If we go with this version, it's going to stay the SRDP, the Survival Rifle Deployment Pouch. But even if we go with the other version, so G-Dog Hammerspring, reach out to me. No matter what we do, I'm going to hook you up. I'll either give you this one right here, or you might just want to wait and see what I'm going to do next, and I'll give you one of those, because I said I would give whoever we picked. That's what we're going to do. So, but again, if we go with this other version, that I'll show in the next video, and I'm not even going to say when, because I've been getting myself in too much trouble. So I'm not going to say when that's going to be, but I'll have another version and I'll present it to all you guys and gals. This version right here or this other version, and we'll probably have to shoot that video very differently. We'll probably have to do it outside. Right now behind the camera, he's not really doing the camera, but Redbeard's back there. We got our Mission Critical podcast here tonight. But I'm going to probably have to get some help from like you or Spoon, because I'm going to have the camera differently so you can see this other version and how it works, compared or relative to this. So once again, huge shout out to everybody who participated and left great comments and funny. I mean, and some of your comments were kind of inappropriate. Like they're right one word away from like, hey, in modern society, that's almost really like saying something else. And it was, you can tell I'm laughing my ass off. It's been lots of fun. So again, Dave Isn't Funny and Jim Taylor, great second place finishes. Really appreciate it. Metallium 69, thank you. Honorable mention. Awesome. Everybody else, they were really good ideas. But I'm going to go with G-Dog Hammerspring. And sir, so reach out to me again, go to the website, leave me an email, give me a phone call, and we'll work it out. You might just say, Mark, I don't care what you come up with next. I want that one in your hand right now. Okay, fine. So be it. That's yours then. All right. Roger Dodger. Or you might want to wait until you see what this next product's going to be, and we'll go from there. And again, just to let you know, so already looking at, just to kind of answer some questions. So the ones that I've really kind of looked at and researched, the Savage Model 42, the Henry AR7, obviously the 1022 and all of its shapes and sizes and configurations, that Springfield Armory M6 Scout, that looks pretty badass. That Alaskan Takedown, matter of fact, and you know what? So I'm sorry, I'll just finish, and then I'm going to come to, I got a point to bring up to Jeremy, because that goes to what we're talking about. And then finally, that Keltec SU-16 556 takedown. But so next week in Mission Critical podcast, we're going to do part 2 of Guns and Things. And hopefully one of our guests is a big lever action guy, and he might be able to shed a little bit more light on some of these takedowns. I don't know if he's, because he's running a whole bunch of stuff. He might be familiar with this Taylor's 1892 or not. I don't know, but yeah, knowledge is power. And on that note, so seriously, yeah, I'm kind of plugging Mission Critical podcast, but if you're into this, and if you had all these questions about optics and what about this and what about that, join. So next week we shoot the podcast on Thursday. So we're getting ready to shoot one here tonight, and then we post them on Friday at 1400 Central Daylight Time. So, but next Thursday, we'll have a bunch of people from different communities in the gun world. We'll be doing some questions and answer type of thing, and going over it. When we did part 1, it was a great podcast, but we're just knuckleheads, and we kind of got a little carried away with some stuff. And, but anyway, that's it. This is kind of a long video, 13 minutes. Again, huge shout out. God bless you. Thanks to everybody who left comments, liked the video, and even people who are commenting in other videos. Mackenzie, I'm talking to you. Like, what about the 1022 contest? I'm like, whoa, slow down, brother. That's a different video. Anyway, I'm high-fiving all of you guys. You can tell it's been a lot of fun, and I got no one to blame but myself for getting myself in trouble. Last note, though, I do like this. I like this cap. I like how we came up with that. It's got retention, even when it's not snapped. This is a really good size, but for a lot of you guys, the final thing, if you really want to keep those optics on, well, then we've got to come up with something else. And that's what I'll show you in the next video. If you don't care about, taking your optic on and off, and again, we're going to address this next week, and maybe assuage some concerns you might have. Well, then that's why you would mount another pouch and you could put it in there. This is a really good size on the smaller component. Yeah, but anyway, that's it. That ends the video, I think. We got to get ready to shoot our Mission Critical podcast here in a little bit. And one more time, G-Dog Hammerspring. I love that name too. A great YouTube name, G-Dog Hammerspring. All right, sir, reach out to me. Seriously. and I'll do a little comment on the first one, and I'll pin you on this too. But reach out to me, give me a phone call or email, and then we'll figure out how we can reward you. But because I said I was going to give one away, make one, so we'll do that. But I think you might want to just hang on a second and hear a little bit more about what. Well, maybe I can't tell you. Maybe you'll leak it. All right, just give me a holler. All right, everybody, you know the deal. If you've got questions, comments, reach out. I'll do the best I can to help you out. All right, you know the deal on that. Until then, keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, everybody, be good. We'll see you next time. Woo!